Right, hello and welcome to another Expert Insight interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine and Pipeliner CRM, joining you from San Diego as per usual. And today I'm joined by Jackie Rainforth, who is in Calgary, Alberta in Canada. How are you doing, Jackie?
I'm well, thanks.
Absolutely. And Jackie is from the Rainmaker Business Solutions and the author of The Badass Guide to Super Selling, which Jackie has in her hands right now. Delve deeper, sell better, achieve faster results. Okay, so let's just get straight into this, Jackie.
Sure.
How do you become a badass sales superstar?
Well, I think it's doing the little things that the other people fail to do. That's the big thing, there's so many things, but it's those little nuances, those little things that customers pick up on immediately. And those are the things that help you stand apart from everybody else.
So it's let's just write down. So the details. So really, it's the things that other people don't pay attention to, and I think it's an interesting concept because I think today they're kind of so used to people forgetting about the little things, overlooking details, not really paying attention, people being distracted. So you can kind of stand out doing, as you say, just paying attention to the details.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the little things that, follow up. It's shocking how many people don't follow up.
Mhm.
Shocking. And that it's little things like sending a handwritten thank you card, or thinking outside the box and doing things that other people wouldn't do, and creating cheat sheets or creating something that makes a process simpler for your client. Salespeople are the conduit between the company and the product or service that they're selling. They are the communicators. They need to find out what's not working so that they can make it happen for the client, make it simpler and easier to buy and to use those services. And so it's about, thinking about those little things that you're not doing that you could be doing to make it easier for your client.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think one of the other things is that it certainly frustrates buyers all the time is when you feel that the salesperson just keeps, especially once you've bought, the salesperson keeps pushing you off to other people. Now, maybe those other people are better placed to solve your problem, but you always want to feel like at least there's somebody watching over.
Right, absolutely. Someone who's, managing and making sure that everything's taken care of. And I think one of the things, when you talk about people being, sent off to another department, there is nothing worse than a client having to explain the entire situation again, right, to whatever
Mm-hmm.
department that is. And that's a little thing that a salesperson can do. They can prep the department for the customer's call, so the customer, they can just say, hey, listen, Joe Blow salesperson has talked to me, and this is what I can do to help you out. This is from what I understand, and just get that clarification. Is this where we are, and is this what you're looking for? It just makes the process so much simpler for the client, and that's what they're looking for, is simplicity. Make it easy to do business. That's it. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people will be surprised sometimes how difficult you or your company are to do business with. I don't mean yours, obviously, but I'm just saying others. I often tell the story of I took over a company a number of years back, a great product, and people love the product, love the service, love the people who did it. But when I first went and visited some of the key customers, they all told me the same things. Love the product, love your people. Terrible company to do business with.
Why? Why?
Because we just made it hard. I mean, that's part of where to go is go deconstruct what was making it hard. But I think a lot of companies and people will be surprised how hard they make it for customers to do business with them.
Right. And it's interesting. I do one sales tip video per week. I post a
Mhm.
lot on LinkedIn anyway, but I do this video. And one of last week's video was, have you contacted your customer and asked them, what can you do, to make their lives easier? Is it a processing thing? Is it a purchasing thing? Is it credits? It's all those little things, those little processes that the salesperson is that hub. They are the person who is controlling everything, and they could just make it so much easier. They really could. I dealt with clients, engineers and architects, who great big database, a book of products and things, or we're trying to fight to get online to try and find those products. We created a cheat sheet and set it up
Mhm.
into good, better, best for them. These are all the products that go with it. It just, sales skyrocketed. They're little things, but when you listen to your clients, they have the most valuable information. They can help you be superstars. They really can. All you have to do is ask. Really.
Yeah, and it's funny that I just want to underline that point, because the ask point, because sometimes, there's that old idea of, well, if they're not complaining about anything, don't say anything, everything's good. Like, don't ask, don't preempt something.
Right. Fear, right?
Yeah.
The fear is, oh, it's going to cause me more work, or it's, I'm going to get a rant, or, whatever it is. But you've got to push past that fear. I mean, you've
Hmm.
got to push past fear on so many levels, but particularly there, because you want to be providing that excellent standard of service for your client. That's what people expect today. It is the age of excellence. People are expecting nothing but the best. And if you don't make it, you don't make the cut, you're not going to make it, and your company isn't going to make it, and they're going to find somebody else. I mean, look at technology. We've got
Yeah.
competition at our fingertips. Really, you used to worry about the guy down the street. You don't. It's a lot different world now.
Yeah,
So
you're worrying about the guy all over the world, and the point that you make there, I think it's also an excellent one, is that, to be honest, it doesn't. There's very few majorly differentiated products or services out there today. Most of them are relatively commoditized to one degree
right,
or another. So the only place you can really differentiate yourself is in your interaction, your service, and how you engage with prospects and customers.
right, exactly. And one of the things that I talk about in the book, it's a whole chapter actually, is how selling has changed and how we've shifted in terms of moving even from just that consultative selling to really hands-on partnership selling, and all the things that have happened to kind of facilitate that. People don't want to be sold to anymore. I mean, if you've ever been to a timeshare or anything like that, we've had bad experiences. People don't want to be sold to. They need people to point out things that are missing and to make things better for them from that point of view. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, and then I always find myself is, I mean, you really crave the salesperson who's going to tell you something you don't know, help you look at something in a different way, bring the experiences they've had with other people who have similar problems, maybe in your industry. It's like even
Yes.
when you get somebody who comes to your home for something, like, I love the guy who says, we're probably not, we're not going to be the cheapest, but here's all the extra things. Here's what we do, and here's how we justify it. And they say, and here's some advice, and obviously the decision is yours. But I love that.
Well, hey, it's all about differentiation. There's so much noise out there. There's so many people. I mean, most of the time you're either selling a product or service that the customer already has, and do they
Hmm.
really need a new one, whatever it
Hmm.
is, or there's a ton of competition. So everything is about differentiation. It's differentiation from the minute you meet them and the words start coming out of your mouth, all the way through to the things that you do, the things that you provide, and again, all the way through to the end game. That's follow up. It's following up. The fortune is in the follow up. It really is. And but people forget that. How many sales people get the sale and then, like you say, never ever follow up with the client again? Realtors. People are buying the biggest expensive thing they've ever purchased in their lives, and a realtor never calls them back.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you send them a calendar. Really? Like, it should be
Yeah,
more.
exactly. Yeah,
Should be more.
and you can put it with all the other calendars that you got from all the other realtors.
Really.
Um,
Yeah.
so when you were moving from surviving to thriving, what are, other than follow, what are some of the other simple things that you suddenly realize that if you did them, that you know your success would increase?
Little things, taking
Mm,
notes, having business cards on you. I cannot tell you. People think, oh yeah, you can just like click and link in and get the connection. No, those are touch points. Those are absolute touch points. It's almost getting back to the old ways. I mean, there's value in that. There really is. How many salespeople like do you talk to yourself, or that you see it there? They just don't take notes. They sit there and just
mm-hmm.
the stats are what you can't even remember 25% of the conversation by the end of the day. By the time you're following up, how in the world can you possibly remember a week later? And with,
Yeah.
decisions taking that much longer because they're much more collaborative than ever before, how in the world can you remember what you talked about 2 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever. I mean, it's mind blowing to me that people do not take notes. And it's a
Yeah.
common courtesy that shows professionalism, you
And
know?
that's what I was going to say. It's a common courtesy to say what you're saying is of interest to me, and I need to be able to recall this. And also, and like you said, I mean, if somebody's not taking notes, you're like looking at them going, "Yeah, okay." So either you don't care about what I'm saying, or wow, you must have a fantastic memory if you're going to remember everything I said going out of it. I mean, have you ever had to say, "Do you want to write this down?"
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's, oh,
And the other thing too, I mean, I think yes, you can take notes on your laptop and everything, but there's something still about somebody actually taking a pen and notepad out and writing down that is for both parties, for the buyer or the prospect. It really goes, okay, somebody's putting a real effort into this and whatever. And
yeah,
the actual, I think there's been some research around the actual. The mechanics of getting and writing and stuff actually makes it more important to you in the long run than it does of something you just type into a
right.
laptop or whatever.
It's kinesthetic learning, right? You're
Yeah.
seeing, you're hearing, you're writing. It's, you remember when you do those things. And here's the thing, how many people forget to do the things they commit to or do the things that the clients asked? And it, I've managed lots of salespeople. I own my own sales agency. I do a lot of stuff. I train. I see this stuff happening over and over and over again, and it just blows my mind. Or even asking for a referral. That's another one today that is
Oh
so
yeah.
critical because everything's word of mouth. And how often do you say, "Hey, who do you know that might be interested in, whatever product or service that you're talking about?" There's a brain shift that happens. A lot of times people say, "Oh, well, I told them I do this or that." Well, that's great. It's still sitting on the right side of their brain. Unless you ask them and they consciously think about it, where it shifts to the other side of the brain and logs into memory, they're not going to remember. It's a physiological change that happens. So you have to ask for the referral. And hey, and a referral is transfer of trust. I mean, honestly, that is everything these days in business because people don't, societal trust levels are the lowest they've been in the history of the world. The history of the world,
Yeah.
right?
Say they're in the negatives now. But yeah, I mean, to your point though, I mean, not just asking for referrals, but also asking more than once, asking at different times. Like if you have a customer and you ask them for a referral, they may not think of it at the time, they may not realize whatever, but then later on they may suddenly at a different time, if you ask them again, they say, oh yeah, actually now I do know somebody who might. Because I think sometimes when salespeople are told to go ask for referrals, they kind of go, okay, this is another chore, I'll go and I'll ask everybody, do you know anybody? No. Okay, see, there you go, I've done
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's almost trying to prove a point that no, that
Yeah,
doesn't work, right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it does work. It really does. And I do it all the time. Most of my business is done on referral
Hmm.
based on word of mouth. And it is one of the key things that I attribute my success to. And people are struggling right now. You have to start thinking outside of the box. Where is a niche market that nobody else is calling on? Is there some lock that hasn't been overturned? Is there a process I could be improving? Is there something I could providing to my client to help me stand out?
Hmm.
Even providing a video, right?
Yeah.
Or leaving a text voice message. I mean,
Hmm.
anything that makes you unique and different is what you're looking
Yeah.
to.
And I think and nowadays, especially, with a lot of people, most people having to do virtual selling and Zoom and all of that is yeah, put on your camera and put a face to the name. Don't, because I mean, I've seen people who don't want to do that. They're fine like walking into a room full of people, but they don't want to go on camera for some reason
Yeah.
online. And you think is go put a face to the name, and even if the other person doesn't switch on your camera or their camera, and you don't have to keep it on for the whole time, at least you have made the effort, you have made that connection, and it'll stand to you, I guarantee it.
Right. Salespeople need to be flexible. They need to be able to pivot. Times have
Hmm.
changed. And, I was speaking for the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers this week. And I said, guys, it's really, really important. You need to go digital in everything
Hmm.
that you do. Things are not going to go back. I mean, they will somewhat, but they're not. And, you think
Mhm.
about the efficiency of a Zoom meeting. I mean, oh my gosh, in some cities
Yeah,
where you're traveling an hour just to get someplace and an hour back, look at how time efficient it is.
it
And,
is.
we all could do more, you do more with more time.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but I love that thing though, about that there's no real like secrets. It's fundamentals, and it's the simple things and the fundamentals. Because I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they brought up like sports, and they were saying like, oh, apparently Kobe Bryant was legendary for going to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning. And he didn't practice trick shots. He practiced the basic drills that he would have practiced in high school every day. And
right.
I said, like, I'm big into martial arts, and like often when we go to class, like some days the master will say, okay, we're going to go over basic techniques, and like, we're doing these for like 15, 20 years or whatever, and you're back doing basic techniques, because you know what, the first thing to go is the fundamentals.
Yeah. Cold calling. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
I cannot tell you how many salespeople just avoid doing tasks that they don't like, and they'll go from job to job trying not to be found out, that
Yeah.
they're not. I mean, and it's just about pushing through fear,
Yeah.
it's once you do it and I mean, I was horrible. I had gotten a job where I had to bring on 3 to 4 new people a week, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do that, right?
Hmm.
But when you start and you just get out there and do it, and you consistently do it day after day after day, you get better and better at it, and that
Hmm.
confidence grows, and
Yeah.
that's what you need. But I know it's all those basics that people just aren't doing anymore, and we need to get back to that in a
Yeah.
in a different way. I mean, we do need to add the whole social selling and
Yeah, of course,
all
of
of that
course, of
to it
course.
as
But
well, because we have to shift, we have to change. But yeah, it is getting back to the basics for sure. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and I think if you do that, I think it'll stand to you. Well, listen, Jackie, this has been fantastic. The book again, you won't forget the title of this, The
Oh,
Badass Guide to Super Selling. Look at that. It's Jackie on
mhm.
the front there. Delve deeper, sell better, achieve faster results, and
Yeah.
become a badass sales superstar.
Exactly.
Oh,
And I made it easy for people to read. That's the nice thing, because I know salespeople hate reading. So quick, easy tips, and everything's, straightforward to the point, simple. I make it really simple. Yeah.
excellent. And all of Jackie's information will be in the bio below this video. But before we go, Jackie, please do tell people a little bit more about yourself and your organization.
Well, basically, I am a sales expert, author, speaker, and trainer. I speak at conventions, although those have gone digital now,
Hmm.
and everything's going Zoom. And I do sales training, a lot of which has switched to doing Zoom meetings, but I still do on site at certain locations and things. But I'm here. I have a Selling Made Simple program. I try to do everything from an easy point of view. I've broken things down into quick, easy steps that people can remember, and they become very, very successful with. So that's what I do. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
yes. Listen, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP Online Sales Magazine, Pipeliner CRM. I'll see you all for another expert interview really soon. Thank you.